I still remember the day my father disowned me. $12,000. That's all it took. He looked me straight in the eyes and said, "You're no longer my child." I was 22, alone, and completely unprepared for what came next. But life has a way of circling back. And years later, in a hospital room I never thought he'd enter, he did. And everything changed. My father, Robert, was always larger than life in our small town. A man of influence, a man whose word was law. He ran a successful construction business, and everyone respected him except me. I was ambitious, yes, but I was also reckless. I borrowed $12,000 from him to start a small online business. I thought it was a smart investment. He thought I was foolish. Rain poured outside the night he came into my tiny apartment to confront me. I could feel the anger radiating off him. "You're irresponsible. I can't trust you anymore." And then he dropped a bomb. "You're no longer my child. Pack your things." I had nowhere to go. My friends tried to console me. My mother had passed years earlier, and my siblings, they stayed out of it, afraid of taking sides. I sat on the cold wooden floor, watching my life collapse. That night, I cried until I had no tears left. I moved into a small studio apartment with barely enough rent money to survive. I took on 3 part-time jobs, waiting tables, delivering packages, tutoring online. Every dollar counted. But the worst part wasn't the money. It was the humiliation. Walking past my father's office, seeing him with my siblings laughing, as if I'd never existed, it was unbearable. One night, I called him, my voice shaking. "Dad, can we talk about the $12,000? He slammed the phone down. No words, just silence. Weeks later, I got a call from a mutual friend. "He's talking about you at the town hall meeting. He says you're a disgrace." I felt sick. I couldn't breathe. I didn't understand how the man who once held me as a child could turn so cold. But what happened next, I could never have predicted. 5 years later, I had rebuilt my life. My business, once a tiny gamble, had grown. Not into a fortune, but into something respectable. I wasn't just surviving, I was thriving. Then came the call. My father had been diagnosed with a serious heart condition. He needed surgery, and the hospital asked for his emergency contacts. My name came up. I hesitated. Part of me wanted to ignore it. But another part, something inside whispered, "This is your chance." I walked into the hospital room that day. I was no longer the frightened 22-year-old. I was calm, composed, and in control. He looked up when he saw me, eyes wide. You're here," he whispered, voice trembling. "I'm here," I said softly, pulling up a chair. "Because despite everything, you're still my father." For the first time in years, he was vulnerable. The power dynamics had shifted. He needed me, and I had a choice. The surgeon stepped in to explain the procedure. My father clutched my hand, panic in his eyes. I never realized," he stammered. "I made a mistake. I shouldn't have disowned you." I looked at him, my chest heavy with anger and memory. The cold words, the slamming doors, the nights I cried alone. And then I said something he would never forget. "You did make a mistake, and now you're going to see what it feels like to be on the other side." I didn't mean harm. I didn't mean revenge. I just let him feel the weight of humility, of dependence, of regret. The irony? The $12,000 he disowned me for over the years. I had quietly paid off debts, donated to causes he never supported, and grown stronger because of his rejection. As the anesthesiologist wheeled him away, he reached for my hand again. I'm sorry, he whispered. I know, I said, and for the first time, the silence between us wasn't heavy with anger. It was heavy with understanding. Walking out of that hospital room, I realized something important. Life isn't about revenge. It's about survival, growth, and understanding. My father's betrayal shaped me, yes, but it also made me resilient. Some scars fade, some remain, but they remind us of the lessons we refuse to forget. Trust must be earned, but forgiveness, that is a choice. Power can shift in ways we never expect. And sometimes, the person who hurt us the most is the one who teaches us who we truly are. I never took back the anger completely. I don't know if I ever will. But that day, the day he walked into my hospital room, I found peace in knowing that karma isn't always loud. Sometimes it's quiet, subtle, and deeply satisfying.